Following the completion of the recommendations from the 25 groups that presented their group-wise comments and suggestions on the political report presented by CPN Maoist chairperson Pushpakamal Dahal and the party chief being heavily criticized, Dahal is scheduled to furnish his response on the report today on the 6th day of the ongoing 8th General Convention of the party. Good morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. Provincial governments taxing state coffers with increased number of ministries while ignoring various commissions' reports. Federal government also yet to comply to guidelines. CPN Maoist Center chairperson Pushpakamal Dahal heavily criticized during the closed session of the CPN Maoist Center's 8th General Convention. Party chair Dahal to furnish his response today. The European Union calls for an international arms embargo on Myanmar's military government and for toughening its own sanctions following last week's massacre of more than 35 people. And 7th round matches of the Martyrs Memorial A-Division League to kick off from today. APF taking on Tribhuvan Army in today's first match. Friends Club facing NRT in the second match. Provincial governments have been adding financial burden to the state coffers by increasing the number of ministries while ignoring the reports of the government commissions. Sidelining the recommendation of the Federal Administrative Restructuring Committee, Public Expenditure Review Commission and High-Level Administration Reform Implementation and Monitoring Committee to have 15 federal and 7 provincial ministries, the provincial governments have doubled the number of ministries while the federal government is also yet to comply to the guidelines. Prior to the election of the provincial assemblies, the Federal Administrative Restructuring Committee had recommended for the arrangement of 7 provincial and 15 federal ministries. Based on the recommendation, the government decided to institute 7 provincial ministries, while the provincial governments, following the suggestions, had initially formed 7 ministries. The trend of splitting the ministries to sustain political partnerships seen earlier, however, has subsided after the Constitution provisioned a maximum of 25 ministries of the federal government. The number of ministries had not been increased at the provinces during the term of the then Nepal Communist Party-led government. However, with the splitting of the NCP, the 5-party coalition formed the federal government and led to the increase in the number of provincial ministries. Discarding the recommendations of the commissions, the provincial governments have now split 49 provincial ministries to around 90 in a bid to serve their political interests. The Public Expenditure Review Commission had recommended against having ministries with overlapping jurisdictions at the federal and provincial governments. However, in sharp contrast to the Commission's recommendation, provinces have been undeterred in increasing the number of ministries, while the federal government is yet to reduce its portfolios. Likewise, the High-Level Administration Reform Implementation and Monitoring Committee had concluded that the administrative expenses could not be reduced in the absence of collaboration between the federal and provincial governments to trim the number of ministries and departments. However, the provincial governments have gone against good governance to serve their political interests. The scenario is bound to dent public faith on the government, while the malpractice is likely to hamper sound functioning of administrative mechanisms and federalism in the country. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in all the 7 provinces regarding their opinion on the trend of increasing ministries without considering financial burden on state coffers. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
मन्त्रालय थप्नु चाहिँ राज्यको लागि अलि अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ आर्थिक हिसाबले
राज्यको ढुकुटी रित्ताउने खेल हो
नेताहरूको लागि यो पद भागभण्डा नमिलेर भागभण्डा यो आफू बाँडीचुँडी खानको लागि
देशको लागि आर्थिक भार थप्ने काम मात्र हो।
On the 5th day of the CPN Maoist Center's 8th General Convention yesterday, the remaining 14 out of the 25 groups presented their recommendations on the political report submitted by party chairperson Pushpakamal Dahal. Some of the leaders of the groups advised party chair Dahal not to reside in a rented house, proposing to construct a new house for him with party cadres collecting the fund. Some groups even advised to revive the Prachanda path or a political roadmap envisioned by CPN Maoist chairman Pushpakamal Dahal. Meanwhile, leader Leknath Neopane turned in a 10-point suggestion saying that the political report submitted by Chairman Dahal was incomplete. The representatives have also questioned Party Chair Dahal's silence in regards to the ruling coalition and issues related with India, calling for clarity on the same. With the completion of the recommendations on the political report and the statute amendment proposal yesterday, Party Chair Dahal and Leader Dev Gurung are scheduled to furnish their responses on the political report and the amendment proposal at 1 this afternoon. The party will then proceed to the election of a new leadership. Nobel Medical College has tried to illegally obtain an additional 500,000 rupees from students pursuing MBBS studies. To make the matter more complicated, the college administration has not allowed students to enter the college premises without making the additional payment, completely ignoring the directive of the Medical Council and the Kathmandu University.
The students have got themselves enrolled at Nobel College after a payment of just over 1.4 million rupees as the first installment amount. The college should have started medical classes 2 weeks ago. On the contrary, students have been denied access even after coughing up just over 4.4 million rupees, which is the maximum fee scale allocated by the Medical Council and Kathmandu University. The college management has made it clear that the students failing to pay the additional 500,000 rupees won't be in a position to enter medical classes. The college has been demanding additional fee under the headings such as exam fee, university registration, affiliation, and medical education registration. Students are forced to return and having to bear with extreme mental ordeals to pay the additional amount demanded by the college. Meanwhile, parents have complained that the college management was intimidating the students, forcing them to clear the payment. In the meantime, parents have drawn the attention of the stakeholders, citing lack of appropriate action despite blatant flouting of laws by the college administration. The local government, meanwhile, has been trying to wash its hands off the entire affair, citing that the issue has been reported to the Medical Education Commission, Kathmandu University, and other stakeholder bodies. Meanwhile, the college management was not willing to talk to Kantipur News regarding the fee issue in the face of protest programs launched by the students.
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And here's the question: what could be the reason for the intermittent supply of electricity? Your options are A, high demand, B, low capacity equipment, and C, reckless employees. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the sports news. Seventh round matches of the Martyrs Memorial A-Division League will kick off from today. Armed Police Force APF are taking on Tribhuvan Army Club in today's first match, while Friends Club face New Road Team NRT in the second match of the day. The match between APF and Tribhuvan Army Club will start at 1 this afternoon at the capital's Dasrath Stadium. The Army team is currently in the 4th spot of the league table with 10 points from 6 matches. If Tribhuvan Army win today, they will climb to the 2nd position of the points table alongside Manang Marsyangdi Club, who have 13 points. The Army team's chance of playing in the AFC Cup qualifiers ended after playing a 1-1 draw against Sadobatu Youth Club in the 5th round and a goalless draw against 3-Star Club in the last round. Meanwhile, APF are in the 11th spot of the points table with 5 points from 6 matches. APF had settled for a 3-3 draw against NRT in the last match. Tribhuvan Army had defeated APF 2-1 in the previous edition of the tournament. Meanwhile, Friends Club will face NRT in today's second match, scheduled for 4:45 p.m. kickoff. NRT are in the 8th spot of the points table with 7 points from 6 matches. Friends Club are in the 14th position at the bottom of the relegation zone. Friends Club had blanked NRT 2-0 in the league match played 2 years ago. The women's national volleyball squad returned to a hero's welcome yesterday after clinching the 2nd AVC Asian Central Zone Volleyball Championship. Players were enthused with expectations following their maiden title win 2 years ago. However, despite defending their crown, the players remain deprived of infrastructures, a covered hall to call their own, and regular training. President Bidyadevi Bhandari, Prime Minister Sherbahadur Deuba, and Minister for Youth and Sports Maheshwar Jung Gatraj had taken it to social media to congratulate the women's national volleyball team immediately after their victory over Uzbekistan in the grand finale of the tournament. However, the Nepali Eves remain deprived of regular quality training and infrastructures to upgrade their standards. Despite all the challenges, the players arrived home with the golden trophy and all smiles. With the absence of infrastructures, grassroots and age group tournaments, and investment in volleyball remaining a harsh reality, the government continues to reiterate its assurances but is yet to make any contribution. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.